साथियों नमस्कार। वेलकम टू IAS PCS फैकल्टी। कल हम लोग का लेक्चर में कुछ इंटरप्शन आने के कारण हमको स्टॉप करना पड़ गया था, तो फिर लेट्स कंटिन्यू फ्रॉम देयर। द रिजल्ट ऑफ हुज ब्रेन इज INA found it, that is Mohan Singh. B. Which among the following advocate had appeared for INA trials at Delhi 1945 and 1946? That is Bholabhai Desai. B. In 1945, famous trial of the soldiers of Azad Hind Fauj as a red fort began. The defense was conducted by the Kailash Nath Katju and Sri Tej Bahadur Safru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Bholabhai Desai, and it is Bholabhai Desai was a chief or senior lawyer of Azad Hind Defense Committee. Which Azad, where was the Azad Hind Fauj was set up in 1943? That is Singapore. Azad Hind Fauj was recognized in 1943 on the island of Singapore under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose. However, at the time of Singapore was under the Japanese control in 1942 to 45. Before Japanese occupation, Singapore was a part of British Malaya. In 1943, Azad Hind Fauj came into the exit in Singapore. We move to next question. October 1943, Subhash Chandra Bose set up the provisional government of Free India, which was recognized as how many countries including Japan? There is 9. In October 1943, was Second World War, the provisional government of Free India established by the Subhash Chandra Bose recognized by the 9 countries. There, there were many Axis power of Japan-backed regimes. The list of recognized countries as follows: Japan, Germany, Nazi, Italy, Thailand, Burma, Myanmar, Philippines. Second Republic response by Japan. And Manchukuo, Japan's puppet government in Manchuria, China. Wang Jingbi regime in China, Japan. And ninth is Croatia, the puppet government supported by the powers. Some sources mention that Slovakia and some more associated country, but the widely accepted number of 9. We move to next to the leader in organizing the provisional government of independence India outside the country. That is Subhash Chandra Bose. In 21 October 1943, provisional government of Free India established in Singapore by the Indian living in exile under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose. It is also known as Azad Hind Government of the Provisional Government of Free India. Organizing Azad Hind Fauj was declared on 21 October 1943. Subhash Chandra Bose remained the Nicobar Island. Nicobar Island was Swaraj Island. Renamed the Nicobar Island as Swaraj Island. During Second World War, 1939-1945, Andaman and Nicobar Islands slipped out the British control and came under the Japanese occupation in 1942. Japan control remained till 1945. When the British reoccupied the island in October 1943, the Japan government symbolically handed over the Andaman and Nicobar Island to the Subhash Chandra Bose Azad Hind Province Government for Free India. Which of the following is not associated with Azad Hind Fauj? That is S.A. Dhingra. The Royal Indian Navy mutiny, also known as Bombay Mutiny, took place in which year? 1914. 1946. Royal Royal Indian Navy mutiny, also known as Royal Mutiny, took place in 1946. On 18 February 1946, about 12,000 Indian naval personnel announced the huge strike. Next, we move to cabinet mission. Cabinet mission was set up to India in from which of the following: they established to establish a national government, to out work out a constitutional arrangement for the transfer of power, to work out the detail of Jinnah demand for Pakistan. Two will be the correct. To work out the constitutional arrangement for the transfer of power. The Cabinet Mission 1946, chaired by the Secretary of the State of India, that is Lord Pitt Lawrence, with two other members, Safford Cripps and A.V. Alexander, is sent to was sent to prepare a constitutional arrangement of the transfer of power in India. Cabinet mission was presided over by Sir P. Lawrence. Cabinet mission came to India in Cabinet mission arrived at Karachi from them then in India in 23 March 1946. 23 March 1946, and he reached Delhi in 24 March 1946, and chaired by the Lord Pitt Lawrence, Secretary of State of India, and other two members were Staple Cripps, the President of Board of the Trade, and the A.V. Alexander, the First Lord of Admiralty. Who among the following was not a member of Cabinet Mission? Cabinet Mission sent to India in 1946 AD. That is Ramaswamy MacDonald, which who who was not a member of cabinet mission. That is Webber, because Webber come with Webber plan. Which among the following is not a member of cabinet mission? Uh, J. Andrew. Formation of interim government 1946. Who was the finance minister of interim government? That is Ali Khan. Ilkayat Ali Khan, the Home Department of Sardar with the Sardar Patel, and Department of External Affairs and Commonwealth was with Jawaharlal Nehru. Which portfolio of Dr. Rajendra Prasad hold during the interim government in 1946? That is Food and Agriculture. Which portfolio of Rajendra Prasad hold the interim government to form in 1946? That is Food and Agriculture. Which who was allotted the portfolio of Labor Department in interim government cabinet of 1946 AD. That is Jagjeevan Ram. In interim government formed in 1946, the Labor Department was given to Baba Jagjeevan Ram. Rajendra Prasad was given the Food and Agriculture Department. Sayyid Ali Zahir was given the Law and Communication Department, and he worked in the post from September 1946 to October 1946. Who was given the Department of Princely State in National Interim Government? That is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Partition of India and Independence. 20 February 1947, Prime Minister Attlee announced the British government decision to withdraw from the India's latest by in June 1948. In 20 January 1947, Attlee started before the House of Commons that the government intended to transfer power in India in June 1948. Also said that if by the no decision on the constitution has been reached, the British government would have to consider to whom the power of the central government in British India should be headed should be headed over, to the central government or the provisional government in some area, or in any other manner considered appointed in the interest of Indian people. In March 1947, Lord Mountbatten was sworn in as Viceroy. His task was to wind up the British power in India. When was the Indian Independence Bill passed in the House of Lords in England? That is 16th July 1947. On the basis of Mountbatten Plan, Indian Independence Bill was introduced in British Parliament 4th July 1947. It was passed by the House of Commons in 15th July 1947 and the House of Lords in 16th July 1947. Therefore, a bill received the royal assent in 18th July 1947. Who among these headed the two boundary commission established in 1947 to draw the international boundary between the India and Pakistan, that is Redcliffe. In 30 June 1947, Bengal Boundary Commission and Punjab Boundary Commission was constituted. Krill Redcliffe was appointed as a chairman of the commission. On the basis of Redcliffe about report, partition boundaries of Punjab and Bengal was determined. The Department of State was established under whose headship or leadership, that is Sardar Patel, who was the President of India in Indian National Congress at the time of partition of Bengal, that is J.B. Kirpalani, who presided over the Meerut session of the Indian National Congress year 1947, that is J.B. Kirpalani, who was the Congress President at the time of transfer of power to Indians by the British in the year of 1947, that is J.B. Kirpalani. The President of Indian National Congress in year 1947 was J.B. Kirpalani. Who Which of the following political parties was in power in Britain at the time of Indian independence? That is Labour Party. We move to constitutional development of India. In which year the Regulating Act passed? That is 1773. Widespread of corruption and misadministration. Mid-administration in the company, the British Parliament passed the Regulation Act 1773. Under this, the Madras and Bombay Presidency brought under the Kolkata Presidency. The government of Bengal is now called the Governor General of Bengal. Warren Hastings was made the first Governor General of Bengal. The Regulating Act passed in The Regulating Act passed in 1773. Under which of the following act did the Lord Cornwallis get the right to overturn the decision of his court? That is Act of 1786. Cornwallis wanted to hold the power of both Governor General and the Commander in Chief. According to this, the Act of 1786 was accepted. In the special circumstances, the Governor General also gave the power to override the decision of Council, enforce his own decision. Where was the Pitt's India Act passed by the British Parliament? That is 1784. The Pitt's India Act passed in 1784 AD. The main provision of Pitt's India Act established the Board of Control as a supervise the company or civil, military and revenue affairs. Reductions of the members of the Council of the Governor General in India to 3 members, and civil and military officers were asked to disclose the detail of their properties in India and British, which act provided for the comparative competitive exam system in civil service. That is 1853. Charter Act 1853 provides the salaries of Board of Control and other officers should be fixed by the government. The company should pay them. The number of directors was reduced from 24 to 18, out of which 6 were nominated by the Crown, provided appointed would be made through the competitive examination without any kind of discrimination. The post of Indian High Commission was created in which Act? That is, the Government of India Act 1919. Government of India Act 1919, the provision was made for appointing an Indian High Commission to reduce the workload of the Secretary of State for India. Its functions including purchasing arms and other goods for the Government of India, avoiding contacts, look after the commercial interest, and taking care of Indian students studying in England. The Montagu-Chelmsford report formed in the basis of the Government of India Act 1919. The report of Edward Montagu, Secretary of the State and Viceroy Lord Chelmsford, became the basis of Government of India Act 1919. Under this act, diarchy was introduced the provision in first time. Who was the Prime Minister of England when the Montagu-Chelmsford Act was passed in 1990? That is Lloyd George. In 1919, when the Montagu-Chelmsford Act was passed in, David Lloyd George was Prime Minister in UK. He remained the Prime Minister in UK from 1916 to 1922. About which act Jawaharlal Nehru had said, we were the provided with a car with all brakes and no engine in Act of 1935, which act is not the landmark for development of constitution during the British rule, that is the Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. During the rule of India, the British government passed a regulating act in 1773, the Charter Acts 1833 and the Government of India Act 1919, whereas the Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955 was passed by the Indian Parliament. Who described the Government of India Act 1935 was a charter of slavery. That is, answer will be E. The presidential ad, in his presidential address, the annual session of Congress held in Lucknow, 12 April 1936, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the Government of India Act 1935, Charter of Slavery. The act provided by the establishment of All India Federation, in which both British India province and the Indian state princely state were to be included through this federation, could never actually come into existence. Government of India Act 1935 abolished um, diarchy in provisional diarchy. 1935 abolished the provisional diarchy and Introduced provisional autonomy. As a result, distinctions between the reserved and transfer subjects ended. So, with some re reservation, responsible government was established in the province. Which of the following was not one of the features of Government of India Act 1935? That is, approval of Act of 1935. The features of Government of India Act 1935, including the provision of Indian Federation recognition by the Government General Executive Council, and the provisional autonomy. However, there is no provision for the evolution of the Act of 1935. This Act also provided some establishment of federal court decision powers between the central and province. The bicameral central legislative abolished abolition of diarchy in the province and diarchy at the center, etc. which act provided for the partition of India into two or new dominance of India and Pakistan, that is Indian Independence Act 1947. Who is considered as a father of diarchy? That is Sir Leon Truist. Sir Leon Truist is regarded as a father of diarchy. His ideas related to the diarchy formed the basis of Government of India Act 1919. The Modiman Committee. The Modiman Committee was appointed to report on the working of which of the following? That is diarchy. Modiman Committee appointed the year 1924 under the leadership of Sir Alexander Modiman. The committee was appointed to discuss and examine the issue of diarchy under the constitution established under the Government of India Act 1919. Apart from the British members, it is also had the six Indian members: Shiva Somaya Iyer, R.P. Prajpit, Tej Bahadur Sapru, Vijay Chandra Mahtab, Muhammad Safi, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. The commission submitted the report in 1925. So this is all about. Yes, अब एक लास्ट लेक्चर बचा है, that is miscellaneous. We cover next. Thank you.